What is up guys, Mr. Who's the Boss here, and welcome to my top 5 smartphones of 2015 to early 2016. Number 1, the ZTE Nubia Z9. I love this phone. First of all, I mean, just look at it, this thing looks like the future. When I first saw the announcement trailer, I was literally like, no way is this a real phone, I thought someone was taking the mick. It's well specced out with the cameras as well, with a solid 8 megapixel front camera and a really good 16 megapixel rear. And the Z9 is fast. Now something I found really interesting is that the phone actually comes in 3 tiers, and the top end one has a Snapdragon 810 processor and 4GB of RAM. That is huge. There's a 5.2 inch 1080p edge-to-edge display, which is just glorious to look at, and I think it's the perfect resolution for this day and age. The only thing that isn't outstanding about this phone is the battery, which at 2900 mAh is not poor either. And then we have the HTC One M9, which I think is a gorgeous device. I think the One M8 looked good, and now the dual-tone metal finish just takes it to a whole new level. The camera has been dramatically improved, and although I did really enjoy the U-focus on last year's M8, the new camera is just hands down better and basically the best you can buy. It's also one of the falling number of flagships to actually take microSD card up to 128 gigs. HTC has also spent a lot of time on their Sense software, which I already liked and now is even better, adding more customization and even more speed. It's very fast and efficient, and powered by the Snapdragon 810 and 3GB of RAM, there's very little to complain about. The M7 was the first phone to really put emphasis on the speaker quality, and people started to realize very quickly how much of a difference that made. The M8 and the M9 further improved this, and now it's almost indispensable. Once using those speakers, you'll find it very hard to go back to any other phone. Now the next one is the Xperia Z3 Plus, and this is a phone which doesn't get nearly enough credit as it deserves. I've actually got a lot of respect for Sony, but they just don't spend enough on marketing. To start with, even the original Xperia Z was gorgeous to look at, and I think because of this and the fact that Sony hasn't really changed the body of the phone too much, has given them much more slack than they deserve. It's a glass slab, admittedly, but it's pretty and it's functional. It has the top of the line components, the best displays on the market, one of the best cameras, and even hi-fi audio, a bit like HTC. It's also one of the most resilient phones on the market, with waterproof and dust type features enabled, IP65 and IP68, and combine that with just under 3000 mAh of battery and a very efficient operating system, you've got 2 full days of use and a phone which is basically perfect. Now onto the Lenovo K3 Note, and coming from a manufacturer which basically tends to stay well away from this area, I was impressed to say the least. It's priced anywhere between $150 and $200, but looks and feels like something costing $400 plus. There's a 5.5 inch 1080p display on this, and it's gorgeous. There's an octa-core processor, 2GB of RAM, the latest version of Android, and the cool stuff doesn't end. It's got a removable back cover, it's got dual SIM card support, it also takes SD cards. This is a very good phone for the price. So last but absolutely not least, we start looking into 2016, and we have the Xiaomi Mi 5. So this was initially actually tipped to be announced in July of 2015, but due to some sort of issue it looks unlikely to happen. However, recent leaks on OppoMart and GSM Arena have pointed to some ridiculously good specs. A 5.5 inch Quad HD display, and most importantly a Snapdragon 820 processor. This is Snapdragon's processor above the 810, its next generation. It's using totally new architecture, and it is a true octa-core chip, offering up to 70% more performance with none of the previous heating issues. There's also just under 4000 mAh of battery here, which along with improved efficiency should mean 2 to 3 days of usage. 4GB of DDR4 memory is going to be bringing in the next level of multitasking, and the supposed 20 megapixel camera that's going to be on this is no doubt going to be dazzling. If Xiaomi's previous offerings are anything to go by, then the Mi 5 is going to be one that you absolutely have to wait for. So yeah, 2015 has been a very exciting year for Android, with some incremental improvements like the HTC One M8 going to the One M9, or some revolutionary improvements like the Galaxy S5 to the Galaxy S6. And as to be expected, 2016 is going to be even more exciting, with phones now coming with more features than you can even remember to use. Cameras approaching DSLR quality, Quad HD displays are becoming the norm, and processors so powerful that they're starting to rival the next gen consoles. Thanks for watching guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more.